Let's find out what's in the feed. What's in the feed this week? Let's find out what's in the feed. Hey everybody, welcome to What's in the Feed. Thought I would pop on here. This is going to be a little quick special. There's been some drama that has been going on in my particular feed. And let me start off by saying that I abide by a few common rules, and one of those is to mind your own business. So I'm not going to be hypocritical and say that plausibly I should be minding my own business. But that said, so should the individual involved in this particular beef, because he interjected himself into a subject with subject matter with limited information and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Now, I've learned in my short career podcasting here and doing shows that there are such people called trolls. And that even comes to the potential former Hollywood elites like this jerk off. What's his name? Bill Jubran. So apparently this guy is some sort of a comedian. I want you guys to look at the smug face of this guy. Now, Bill decides that he wants to attack Petty Crocker. Petty putting on X. Now, she fell into my feed many, many months ago. She's highly entertaining, and she's a lovely human being. But this guy, and we will watch the source material, finds a video of some little 20-year-old teeny bopper crying about the fact that Petty, whom she's accusing of being a Nazi, which is the furthest thing from the truth, if you pay more than 2 minutes of attention to her, you would know that. But here's the problem. In this conservative sphere that we are, with the influence that we have, I think a lot of these people on the other side that live in this alternate reality seems to think that they're popular culture. They're not entertaining. They're not funny. It's all about negativity. Their whole existence depends on negative energy. And I want you to watch this video. Okay, this is the response, or this is the original source material. And I want you guys to let me know what you think about this, because this has been going back and forth. And I find it a little bit ridiculous. Now, Bill, let me just tell you this much. I can offer myself up as a target. You can say whatever negative things you want about me. You can try to dig up dirt on me. But guess what? I don't have the following that they have. I don't have the dog in the fight. So anything that you say to me is only going to make me bigger. So I invite any response that you have, because right now, looking at the situation the way that it is, you're not really winning this one. So here's the original source material, and this is essentially a response back to Bill about Petty being a racist.
Think that you've been friends with them for years and they don't care that you're not all the way white, but then some liberal comes around and has to tell you about your friend.
I mean, look at
literal
this guy's
Nazi
face.
has more followers than me on this app. Like, I can't even hit 100K and she's about to hit 500. Look at her little handle. Isn't that cute? Look at those little cute lightning bolts in that 88. That's probably the year she was born, right?
She doesn't care about somebody's skin color, their sexual orientation. That woman just...
So let's pause right there. This guy stumbles upon some little video of some little teeny bopper who's having a fucking meltdown about not having a bunch of followers. And he thinks that he should grasp in on that. He should bite down on that and double down on attacking the source material here. And here's Cler, and I'll keep that very simple. Your only issue with Cler is that she's friends with Petty. And she's defending her friend, which any true friend would do.
Loves.
So Petty Crocker is your friend. I could have guessed that. Someone in Florida is making a lot of money. So people are calling your friend a Nazi, and you're saying that woman just loves. Let's get to the bottom of that. So you think because you're friends with someone that they can't be racist? Really? Well, let me tell you something, Cler, fake patriot. I have an advantage over you because of my skin color.
Okay. You heard what the guy said. So the racist is being racist. And let's all clarify what he's saying. Clearly, Cler is of mixed race. I don't know exactly what her ethnicity is, but I know for a fact that her and Petty are close, real friends. And I know for a fact that Petty is not a racist. Now, even for somebody who's as small as I am in the circle of people that Petty touches, Petty has shown nothing but support. Cler has shown nothing but support. And these are people that don't need to reach out. But this is the magic of Twitter and X, that it doesn't matter what size of an audience you have, that you can be in touch with people that have much larger followings. And there's no reason for them to respond to you, and there's no reason for them to like you. But when they support, they support. These kind of jerk-offs whom are on the other side, their whole thing is, and this guy's getting off. He's fucking creaming in his pants right now, like he's really got something going on here. Like he's really dug in to some journalistic truth here. But I'm going to show the receipts. I'm bringing the receipts. You know, giving him airtime right now is killing me. But if you don't know the source material, then you're not going to know what I'm talking about. So let me scroll this up a little bit more here.
I get to hear what people like that say about you behind your back. I don't doubt you guys are friends. You're probably great friends, as long as you don't step out of line. If you wanted anything that goes against white supremacy, you're done. Now I saw who you and her are following. You both follow every racist you possibly can.
Now, here we go. First fallacy. Follow and followed. You can't stop who follows you. And Bill, you're full of shit because you didn't spend enough time to go look at who's following and who's being followed. And Bill, the whole reason that you're bringing this shit up is because you want to be followed. You wanted to use whatever you could off this little beef to platform yourself because you want to be followed. But if you're any kind of an influencer, 99% of the time, you're not paying attention to how many people, the individuals that follow you. People follow you at a pace that is impossible for you to follow. Okay? So to claim that these people are following racists, well, I would like to see the list of those racists. Bill, where's your receipts? Show me where they are, because I follow some of the same people that they follow. And I know for a fact that on a regular basis, Petty uses content from Black content providers, such as Dom Lucre. So it's ridiculous for you to infer, because you may have found 1 or 2 or 3 people on her list, which you will probably find on my list and probably find on your list. I can't find your Twitter page. God knows who follows you. And I don't know who likes the smug presentation. It's not entertaining. You're not entertaining.
So you're not going to convince me you're not who you are. And we know all the racist dog whistles. We know what the 88 means, and we know what the lightning bolts mean.
Debunked. Petty was born in 1988 and She's a lightning rod. This symbology thing, where, and let me just put it this way, where liberals seem to find imaginary monsters in the closet is ridiculous to me. Dog whistles? Who told you that was a dog whistle? You got that information from the source video where she said it was a dog whistle. And so now you're using her information. I guarantee you, before the shit, you didn't know that two lightning bolts next to each other, not on wide sides, could be seen as SS. To me, what I see is a lightning bolt. I see her name followed by a lightning bolt. And if you listen to any of her content, it clearly makes sense why she would use lightning bolts to represent the personality type that she is. Let's go on.
Let me ask you, Claire, is Amber America first? Because we know where that came from. We know the dog whistles.
Really, bro?
Now I'm about to announce the one time a Trump supporter showed proof for something. You guys ready?
To try to paint me as something I'm not. And
So here we go with this smug face here. So you're saying that the proof is accurate the one time. There's many times. Show your proof. Because right now you're not, in a court of law, you're not winning, bud.
say that the 88 has nothing to do with my birthday. Nay, nay. No, that means Nazi. But here's my driver's license. What does it say on the date of birth?
Now she just showed proof that she actually was born in 1988.
Boom. Now I love it. Because look at the spirit in which Petty responds. In a friendly, comical way. Because she understands how ridiculous your premise is. Okay?
Wait. She's only in her 30s? That right there should be a red flag that she's racist. Only racists age like that.
Is this fucking guy being serious? Do you hear this? Does anybody take this seriously? Who listens to this guy? Tell me if this guy's not trolling us. Or is not trolling them. She's in her 30s, so immediately you can make an assumption about her personality traits. Looks like the old guy with the white beard and the bald head is kind of hating on the generation that isn't his.
Only people filled with lies and hate age like that. But you said all
And he's full of shit, dog. You know Petty look good.
she does is love. Now, judging by over 90% of her comments on Threads, people think she's racist, but it's not fair.
Now, what people think and what is true are two different things. You see, you said the pivotal part right there, that you think, that people think. But you guys are crackpots. Your side will find any reason to attack anyone who has anything positive to say, who lives in the real world and has common sense. Because you guys don't want to admit it to yourself. You're on the wrong side. You're the fucking wackadoodles, and you're the racist. Let's go on.
Here to go on that, so we should just see what she posts. Now, I just went back on her page maybe 2 weeks. Make Islam go away. Wow, she's so full of love. She wants to nominate Ilhan Omar to be the supreme leader of Iran. Dozens of illegal aliens were flown out yesterday by ICE.
Now, I wanted to let that one play out. This is what struck me in this particular video. Okay? Earlier, you referred to the KKK. The KKK that is synonymous for being racist against Black people and Jews. So what you were inferring by calling Petty a racist was not saying she was against Islam, which is diametrically opposed to Christianity. So I find that funny, because here's how I look at it. If Petty is racist for being critical about Islam, then are the Islamists that are critical about Christianity also considered racist? That is the rub, isn't it, my friend? Secondly, Petty is commenting on immigration, not the race of the person. She is political and she's making a political point. See, this is what you guys do. Don't lump us black people in to other races. You're white, you're not black, you're not Mexican, and you're not from an Islamic country. You understand? Whether you like it or not, there's individual points of view when you're talking about individual groups of people. This is not a solid argument to call Petty racist. Let's go on.
With the one-way ticket. Adios, amigos. Wow,
Bye,
she's so
motherfucker.
loving. What a loving person.
This guy is talking about somebody being loving when you can tell he hardly enjoys being in his own skin.
Caring. What a beautiful Christian. Just celebrating families being torn apart. It's funny. All I see.
Families being torn apart again. You see, this is the dog whistle that you guys use. Show a little kid so someone can feel. So you can feel a certain way instead of knowing a certain way.
See his hatred towards brown people. That's weird. And here we go in Florida. DeSantis bans Sharia law, something that is not an issue at all.
It's an issue, my friend, as spoken by some kind of an atheist. Now, let me sidetrack here. I assume, Bill, you came up in Hollywood and you are the exact person that they would be talking about when they would be talking about white privilege. But you have so much white guilt that you felt like you need to be the fucking Power Ranger for everything that is right about the world in your mind. But you're not right, bud. People can be critical of other religions. This is a Christian country. Sharia law is a problem. And you know, the first set of people that they kill are the entertainers. And you ain't funny no more, bud. So while you guys all spend your time trying to spin and justify what Islam really is, instead of embracing a religion of love, and I'm not proselytizing here either. I'm just saying it's a bullshit argument.
You do realize that people like DeSantis do shit like this to rile up their racist base. You do get that.
No, I don't. Here we go again. You guys are imaginary. I don't even know how to respond to that. You think everything everybody says is to rile up the base?
And here we go in Texas. Islamic schools can get $10,000 per student, and she has a problem with that. They're getting the same.
Once again, Bill, how is that racist? Okay, Bill? Is it racist because she's critical of a religion that happens to consist of mostly brown people? Is that the argument, Bill? That's the argument, right? Because Yam said one thing about where everyone is always talking about where systemic racism is pointed at, and that's African Americans and black people. Black people like me, whom Petty has supported, whom Cler has supported, whom never once have I ever seen anything negative or racist come off of their feet. And the receipts are coming.
Same thing Christian schools do. But she has a problem when it's the brown people. Listen up, fake patriots. This is not a Christian nation. We have the freedom of religion. If you give something to one religion...
Bill, I'll give you a point on that one. But I will tell you that it is a Christian nation. That's how it was built. It's a Christian nation which accepts freedom of religion. So I'll correct you there. You guys can repaint it all you want, and you can revise history, but history is what it is. Clearly, there's a difference between the 1800s and now, and things have changed, and ideals have evolved. But when you come down to the brass tacks of how this country was founded, it was founded as a Christian country. Well, let's go on a little bit more, buddy.
You have to give it to every religion. I swear you guys are the fakest Christians on the planet.
That ain't true. Said by a person who's not a Christian. Because if you were a Christian, we wouldn't even be having this argument.
And you know what's funny? Even her old accounts had lightning bolts and 88. Now she...
Here we go again with the lightning bolts. Where'd you get it from, Bill? This is not your original ideal. You're still pontificating on something that a 20-year-old teeny bopper said, and you're responding to her video. The content isn't even your content. So as I said in the beginning, if I need to be minding my business, you sure as fuck need to be minding your business. Thunderbolts do not make Nazi racist, okay?
She hates on everyone's culture, but she celebrated St. Patrick's Day. The one white holiday, she's going all out.
Oh, but where did you grow up? Because every St. Patrick's Day, every kid I know wore green. Here's the problem now. Now we're going to start separating things based upon whiteness? Here's how hypocritical you are. Isn't that a little bit racist? Okay, it's based on an Irish holiday that was adopted by Americans. So even I go out on St. Patrick's Day and have green beer. Fuckhead.
But she's not racist. That woman just loves. By the way, she has as many stupid ass takes as you do.
And I like green beer.
And she blocked me a couple days ago. Now let me remind you
I'd block you too, jerk off. All you are is a fucking troll.
again what you said.
She doesn't care about somebody's skin color, their sexual orientation. That woman just loves.
She doesn't care about anyone's skin color or sexual orientation. I think I proved that to be incorrect.
No, you did not prove that to be incorrect. And the funniest part is, too, where do you get off on attacking Cler for defending her friend? So you're invalidating the way that Cler feels as a colored person, or as a person of color, rather? That's also kind of racist, bud. So once again, you're kind of losing your own argument here.
But there's also this.
Did y'all know what today is? Did you hear what today is? Today is Transformer Visibility Day. Ha! For the last 4 years. That's all I've seen.
Boy, that's hilarious. I'm going to pause here. I don't think I could stomach making it all the way to this point in the video, but good on you, Petty. So, and look at the smirk on this guy's face. He's like, I got you now. You said something about the fucking trannies. I got you now, because Lord forbid we talk about the chicks with dicks, and that is being unaccepting. Bill, all due respect, I don't know if you're married, but do you suck dick? Because chicks with dicks are dudes with mental illness. And whether you want to color it as being racist, homophobic, whatever the case is, because I've said on prior shows that you as an adult do whatever you want to do. But the problem with the left is that you try to push that upon people. You try to make them believe things that are incorrect. A man cannot be a woman. And that's just science. But let's go on. Let's hear what Petty has to say.
Is y'all Transformers all up on my screen?
That woman just loves. Cler, you're one of the most hateful people out there because you're friends with the most hateful people out there.
No, but you're hateful. You wasted your fucking time making this video so that you could shit on two lovely human beings.
You know, there's one real way to
And I'm going to show you, bud.
settle this. Both of you make a video denouncing the Triple K, denouncing Nazis,
This is one of these crazy J6 people. He's just crazy. Now I've watched the whole video through, and this guy is mentally fucking ill. Denounce Nazis. Okay. I don't know whether they even saw that part or whether it's even necessary to denounce something that you're not involved in. This is the whole struggle session thing. And it may be that you've read that Communist Manifesto, that you're going to get people to confess to crimes that they didn't commit. Bill, you're a fucking jerk off. You're a piece of shit, and you should have minded your fucking business. And look, little old me ain't about nothing. I got a few people that listen. I got a few people that like. Make me a target, because I'm going to call you a sexist. Because first you watched a little video from a little 20-year-old, so it's suspect that you're watching videos from little 20-year-olds that are complaining about influencers like Petty having more followers than them. No pun intended, Petty. That's petty. And you felt like you were going to interject on that subject like you really got some real gritty dirt. You insult people in Petty's friend group that are also influencers and positive role models. Why? What are you mad about? What is your take on this? I'm just going to say, now that we're in the end, no private conversations being had, but there's been nothing but support from that whole particular group of influencers. And I appreciate it. And if anybody's going to make themselves the target, because quite frankly, for me, I'll play Switzerland in this thing, then it's me. Because I appreciate what has been done for me, and I appreciate the support from everybody that follows me. If anybody wanted to follow you and is watching you, it's because they want to have a bad day. You're a miserable fucker, and your whole approach of your smugness and your misinformation is just a shame. Now let's produce the receipts. So, Bill, let's go to the tape. Now, you claim that Petty's feed is just full of racist hate. And I encourage anyone who watches this or listens to it to invite yourself to go look at Petty's feed. I didn't have to go down too far, but I selectively picked out a few posts myself that counter the narrative. Okay? We've already countered the fact of immigration being mentioned. Mentioning immigration is not racist. Criticizing Islam is not racist. So we've already countered those things. We've also clarified, me as a black man who can speak on it, Cler as a close friend who is of mixed ethnicity, being one of her best friends, should already clarify it. But I go through a feed and I find stuff like this. This is amazing. So hundreds of strangers have shown up for a funeral of a Tennessee veteran who died with no known relatives. This is the kind of content that you will see Petty posting. She's from a military family. I believe she has a former active duty husband. Thank you for your service, sir. She supports military and military families. And Bill, if you have anything negative to say about the armed forces, I would really like to hear a response to that, because she's been upfront in supporting causes of soldiers and soldiers' families. So that's just putting a caveat out there that she put this on here and it touched her heart. Okay? But now let's go to her nature of charity. And there's too many to scroll through to even touch on how much of a philanthropist she is, how much of an asset she is to people in need. So here's her posting, and I won't play the video about the wildfire in Nebraska. 800,000 acres, ranches, farmland gone. People need us now. And I will show the whole post, okay? This is a website to donate to. The address to mail it to, the phone number, the email. And she is imploring her followers to help these people. Point proven. Here is one from March 23rd, where she is stating that a friend let her know that there were people that were in need in Oahu. There was a big flood there and it flew under the wire. And so she took it upon herself to share this with her followers. Once again, all of the information contained in the link below. Okay? Great example. Here's posting about this young man, and I don't remember his name. Theodis put this up, and this is the young gentleman who was at the State of the Union address, and the Democrats couldn't even stand up for him. DJ Daniels, here we go. He is the sweetest young man, the most inspirational young man who's fighting cancer. And she took the time to simply post that he looked sharply dressed. These aren't the words of a racist. Don't you think she would have probably been speaking more like the people on the other side when they had their fun time taking digs at DJ? I don't know. Now, this is something she reposted, ironically enough, from someone of a African descent, about the massacre in Nigeria of Christians. Now, we know that Nigeria is 99.99% black. So why would she care about the plight of black people if she was racist? I wonder. Another great example, and this is the last example I'm going to use. Dom Luker, whom is also in the same sphere of influence of Petty and others, posts this about Christians being massacred in Nigeria. And this is shortly after she commented on another post showing that she cares. But don't you think it's ironic that she's posting content from Dom, who is clearly black, whom also is very well respected in the conservative black community? You lose the argument there. And I really have to keep it that simple. Bill, you're wrong. And as you asked them to denounce the KKK, which I don't think they need to do, maybe you need to denounce the fact that maybe you are secretly racist yourself. And I would love for you to attack me, a black man with a fraction, a sliver of the kind of influence that Petty has. Use me as your target. So let's recap the why Petty Crocker is not a racist episode. Your only critique of Cler, as I mentioned earlier, is that she's friends with Petty and she defends her friend. Cler out. She can't be racist anyways. Petty regularly reshares content created by black content providers. She retweets them, she supports them, and she is nothing but positive as it comes to anyone that is involved within her feed. You selectively cherry-picked out of the posts, and that's why you didn't use the post from Twitter, which is funny. You used the post from the other platform that I'm not aware of, but if you do even a cursory research of just down to March, then you will see that your negative fails. You selectively chose posts that fit the narrative, that criticized Islam, that is not racist. If anything, you could have just said she was Islamophobic. That would have been a more accurate portrayal if that were the case, which it is not. And go back earlier to what was said. It is not racist. More of the content there is positive and uplifting. Posts that support military, posts that support donating to funds to help people. Now, that's what was said, and of course, that part seemed to have irritated you to know, and I know you know, that Petty is a bit of a philanthropist. She is a positive influence. And that's not something you guys can stand, because when you see it from the other side, it doesn't fit your narrative. And this so-called comedian, you found a random post and you decided that you wanted to comment on it. So basically, you're piggybacking on the opinion of the little teeny bopper who didn't have any information in the beginning, whom only said it because she was hating that she had less followers. You've established none of the points that you make, because when someone makes a counter argument, it falls apart. I have my own trolls. That's why I decided I wanted to chime in, because Bill, you're nothing more than a glorified troll. And that's my opinion. Everybody follow Cler Patriot. Everybody follow Petty Crocker. Everybody follow MAGA Meg. Hell, follow me, Low Tone. Case closed. I'll let you decide who's a racist and who isn't, because Petty Crocker ain't a racist. Thanks.